Hey, this is Chef Joel, and today we're making Nashville hot chicken. I've got a plethora of ingredients out here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cut up our chicken, we're gonna marinate it in a little bit of pickle juice and buttermilk. We're gonna make our own chili powder. We're gonna do a nice herb-infused brown butter, and then we're gonna finish everything off. We're gonna make a nice sandwich at the end with our challah bread buns and a garlic aioli coleslaw. Whole Jajori chickens, these are really nice free-range chickens. Cut it down here into some pieces. I'm gonna take most of the bone out of there just so it's a little easier to eat later, and then our chicken sandwiches are gonna be made out of these breast pieces right here. Full disclosure, I've never made Nashville fried chicken before. I don't know if I'm making it true to the style. To me, it doesn't really matter. I'm kind of doing my own little interpretation on it. So if anybody wants to go to the comment section and tell me I'm making it wrong, feel free and go ahead. But I bet you know what, it's still gonna be delicious. Boneless breast piece, I'm gonna keep the skin on there because that's gonna fry up nice and crispy. And then what I'm gonna do is just do a little kind of a butterfly cut on the inside there just to kind of flatten it out a little bit. The marinade for this is gonna be very simple. We're gonna use half pickle juice and half buttermilk. There's a specific reason why you do this too. This is basically a brine. What a brine does is it's a salt component, and the salt is actually going to kind of draw its way into the meat. So you're gonna infuse it with flavor, and then the salt, when it stays inside the meat, it draws more moisture in, so you're gonna get a juicier chicken in the end when it's done cooking. And the buttermilk is also gonna tenderize it a little bit with some of the natural enzymes that are in there. You can let this sit anywhere from a couple of hours to overnight. My understanding, a good Nashville hot chicken is a nice fried chicken, get some kind of an oil, and then we're gonna make our own chili powder for it. So instead of oil, we're gonna use butter, because butter makes everything better. So I'm gonna take 2 pounds of butter here. We're gonna melt it slowly in the pot, and then I'm gonna add some aromatics to it. We're almost gonna make like a brown butter for it. So I'm actually gonna add the aromatics right now. We've got shallots, garlic, and then some fresh herbs. I'm using a little bit of sage, thyme, and tarragon. We can keep the seasoning fairly simple for the flour. So I just have some all-purpose flour here. A little bit of baking powder. It's gonna help fluff it up a little bit and make it kind of extra crispy. And then we're just gonna hit it with a little bit of sea salt and some black pepper. We wanna make sure that we get a really nice coating of flour on the outside of the chicken. So we're gonna wanna do a double breading. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna remove our chicken from the brine and go straight into the flour. And it's okay if it stays a little bit wet. I really don't need it to be too dried off because I really want as much flour to stick to it as possible. And what I wanna do is I want to dip the chicken a little bit more in something, but I want it to be a little thicker. I want to add a little viscosity to it. I'm going to add a couple of spoons of the flour mix to it. Give it a nice whisk. And what this is going to do is it's almost going to create kind of a batter. The chicken's been sitting for a minute. Got a nice coating of flour on there, but we're going to make it extra crispy. We want as much flavor as possible. All right, I've got my oil here about 350 degrees. 350 is actually kind of a standard fry temperature, but it's gonna be too hot for what we really want, but that's okay, because we're gonna add all this chicken to it right now. The chicken is gonna cool down the oil, and then we're gonna allow the oil to just kind of maintain a nice bubble. Because these bone-in pieces of chicken could take, almost 20 minutes to really fully cook. What we have here is guajillo chilies, cumin, a little bit of granulated garlic, a little coriander, oregano, onion powder. This is chili de arbol, and a touch of fennel seed. We have our little, very simple house-made chili powder here. One of the next thing we're gonna make here is a little coleslaw. So I just have some cabbage. And instead of a coleslaw dressing, what we're gonna use is a house garlic aioli. So this is gonna add a really nice flavor and twang. We're gonna use our house challah bread bun. This is what we use for all of our burgers here too. Challah is such a fantastic bread for this because it's rich, kind of like a brioche, but it's slightly more dense, so it holds up to all the juices and things that we're gonna put on there. Is we're gonna take some of this beautiful aromatic brown butter mixture, and then we're gonna toast it a little bit, but first I'm gonna put a slice of this Munster cheese. Munster is such a really nice buttery cheese. We're gonna toast this really quickly, and our chicken's just about done. This is actually a really nice, kind of a typical Southern style fried chicken, but now we're gonna give it that flavor that's typical of that Nashville style. So we've let it drain in our paper towel for a second here. We're gonna add a little bit of this is our infused brown butter. So typically they use some kind of oil for this. This is a really hot, fused butter with all those aromatics in there. Now we're gonna give it some of that hot chili powder mix that we made here. Give it all the extra flavor here. Put a little more butter on there, make sure it all sticks really good. Let's give it a nice toss. Plate, look at that. Look at the still crispy, all that seasoning, that spiciness. All right, now it's time to build our sandwiches. So we have this garlic aioli coleslaw, nice and creamy on the bottom there. Fat chicken breast piece right here. That's right, the pickles. Put a little more coleslaw on the top there, just because we got to make this an impressive looking sandwich. Put these fried pickles on top. Should we get the What have we done? The juiciness of the chicken, all that seasoning,